Washington Kangaroos on one side, the Prairie Falcons on the other, as we get set for the 1999 WIAA Girls 4A Championship game. The defending champions of Prairie taking on the Kangaroos of Lake Washington. Hi, everybody. I'm Todd Pickett, along with Nancy Yolden and Angie Arlotti. We welcome you to the Tacoma Dome. A couple teams with a little bit of different tournament experience. Prairie, the defending champs. Lake Washington in the championship game for the first time.
Well, we know that Lake Washington is excited to be here, and big win last night gave them the confidence that they need.
Let's take a look first at how the Prairie Falcons got back into the state championship game. They had to come from behind in the first round and won late against Bellarmine, a very talented Bellarmine prep team from Tacoma. Then defeated Meade in the quarterfinals. A couple of teams with a lot of state championships beat Cascade. They are on a roll right now.
Todd, their game against Cascade was the best team basketball they've played, and so they're excited.
And Courtney Cushing, their leading scorer. She's had some foul problems in a couple of games, but she is going to be one of the keys for Prairie tonight.
Well, Falcons like to pound the ball on the inside, and they will be looking for Cushing. She's good on the low block. She can also shoot from the free throw line, so they have to get her into the offensive action early.
And as we said, Lake Washington in the state championship game for the first time. Here's a look at how the Kangaroos got there, beating Puyallup in the first round, edging Kent Meridian, and then last night coming from behind, trailing at halftime, they shut down South Kitsap to move into the finals.
Well, and South Kitsap is a very good girls basketball team, and I was surprised that Lake Washington played very well and got that big win.
Three talented post players for Lake Washington. The tops among them, a transfer in junior Catherine Crayveld.
Crayveld is an outstanding player. She's versatile. She can shoot the three-point shot. She had 4 blocks last night and 12 points. They really have to get the ball to her early in order for Lake Washington to be successful.
And she is averaging a double-double for the tournament. 3 low-post players. That'll be one of the keys against Prairie's interior defense, but the Falcons are tough all over the court. We'll be back with the starters. Get you ready for this 1999 Girls 4A title game right after this timeout.
Step right up.
Hey! When would you like to dance?
Of course, you lead.
Burn. Oh. Huh.
Got milk?
Tonight on Fox Sports News Primetime. The hardcourt hysteria continues. Get all the action from the Sweet 16 as we march on towards the Final Four. Plus, Orlando takes its magic act to the Big Apple. And time for another installment of How the Worm Turns.
Then on the last word,
Jim Rome dances with the Blue Devils, Shane Battier and William Avery. Get the last word on March Madness. Fox Sports News Primetime. Followed by the last word tonight starting at 10.
76ers Sonics, Monday at 6:30 on Fox Sports Northwest.
Brought to you tonight by Car Toys, a better way to go for car stereos, car alarms, radar, pagers, and cell phones. By the Money Tree, your cash solution. And by Gifford Industries, the gym floor people, dedicated to quality, committed to value. And we welcome you back to the Dairy Farmers of Washington 4A Girls Basketball Championship. Lake Washington at 23-5, taking on Prairie 23-2. The Falcons, the defending state champions, have won their last 21 games. There's head coach Al Aldridge. An enrollment of just under 1,500 in a team that has gone from 2A to 3A to 4A, and the 90s champions of the Greater St. Helens League and the #1 seed, the only spot out of Southwest Washington. Roger Hansen is the head coach at Lake Washington. He's also the athletic director of the school. They finished first in the Lake Division of the KingCo Conference and first in District 1 and 2. Let's look at the starting lineups. Beveridge, Wright, Cushing, Moldenauer, and Grimm for Prairie. Rondell, Crayveld, Girolami, Long, and Dewar for Lake Washington. Lake Washington in the white, controls the opening tap. Girolami with the lay-in, the assist from Brianna Dewar. Kind of surprised Prairie off the opening tap there a bit, Nancy.
Well, they took that. They looked like they had that play designed,
And that's exactly how Lake Washington wants to start this game.
Inside for Prairie. Cushing defended well by Rondell. The follow won't go. She gets it again. Ducks underneath on the third attempt. She will go to the line.
Courtney Cushing showing why she is so valuable. Second and third efforts, that's what got her to the foul, to the free throw line.
The call against Jenny Rondell, the first foul of the game. A 3-year starter for the Falcons. She had 19 in last year's championship game. And gets Prairie on the board.
Prairie's known for their defensive pressure. They're very aggressive. They'll play some run and jump, which is what they're doing now. Player-to-player defense, full court.
Girolami going baseline. They'll call the foul on. It is against Lake Washington. Had to wait for a second because they went and pointed back at Cushing, but it was an illegal screen set by Jenny Rondell, and she quickly has picked up 2 personal fouls. She walked through the screen that time.
Well, Rondell is a key player for Lake Washington, and I know that Coach Roger Hansen has some concern that she's picked up 2 quick fouls.
Erica Moldenauer handling up top for Prairie. And you can hear perhaps the Lake Washington rooters in behind. Cushing down low. Defended nicely by Girolami. She can't get it to go on the weak side. And Crayveld, you see she's able to tap to herself.
Well, Cushing did a good job even to get that shot off. She was very deep under the basket.
Long up top for Girolami. She does not hesitate shooting, and she pops that one off. Crayveld chasing it down on the baseline, and the reach-in is going to be called against Prairie's Angela Beveridge.
Good hustle by Crayveld to hang onto the ball, and she fought off Beveridge in order to grab the rebound.
In the corner, Dewar will inbound. Girolami again, a tough shovel that time, and Lacey Grimm with the weak side board. Prairie can transition as well. Beveridge taking it inside. The trees are there, and the missed shot by Mariko Wright. Dewar, and she gets hit by Moldenauer. Second team foul on the Falcons. Dewar, a little elbow as she gets by Moldenauer, bounces off the defender as Beveridge came over to help. She'll sprint the other direction after the miss. Pushing the trailer, slides by Girolami, can't get the roll, she'll go to the line.
Prairie's a strong team in transition, and they will look for a number of scoring opportunities off of their break. We have an opportunity with Beveridge setting the break, and Cushing comes back. Cushing can take that shot from the high post. You can also put the ball to the floor, as we see here, and drive to the basket.
Foul on Girolami, her first. 3 team fouls on the Kangaroos already. And Cushing with all 4 Falcon points.
Stay wide, stay back, please. Get him off of it.
Dewar making the nice transition that time. Long. Good help that time by Annie Holmgren.
Tight defense by the Prairie Falcons.
Long with a good step around, but Prairie getting one of the players to shoot that they would like to see, taking some shots right now. Long with just 9 points in the 3 tournament games. Cross court for Beveridge. She decides to dribble back out of trouble. Under pressure, Girolami forces the steal. Crayveld, who can't handle the ball, nearly leads Dewar into trouble and did as she rocked to avoid the contact.
It was a sloppy pass by Crayveld, and very much Dewar was set up. She couldn't do much with the ball once she got it, and the defensive pressure was right there.
A look at what Prairie has done. They were the Class 2A champions in 1993, got bumped up to 3A, which was then the largest. Won that in 94, finished third in 95. And as we said, the defending champs at the 4A level now. Cushing called for the walk.
Cushing working hard on the baseline, but getting trapped. No place to go, really, Todd. She's under the basket. She needs one of her teammates to come and help out, step into the open gap, and look for the ball.
Go, 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 go!
Steal attempt there by Moldenauer. Long sprinting into forecourt for Dürr. Taken away. They tried to get it to Holmgren. It was ripped loose by Wright. Down the floor, crossover step, and over the backboard for Andrea Anderson, who got a little bit of the big eyes perhaps that time.
Well, that's a situation with two defensive players in front of her. She probably should have brought the ball back up to the top and set up that half-court defense.
Here's a little bit of Kraveld's ability. We see dribbling against some token pressure. Long behind the stripe, can't hit the three. The board pulled down by Cushing. Moldenauer waiting.
Coach Aldridge feels they need to hit from the outside tonight, which will open it up on the inside for Cushing, but they have to have that balance in order to be effective against Lake Washington.
The Falcons struggling a little bit in terms of getting some offensive continuity. They stood that trip down, and they pay for it by kicking the ball away. Angela Beveridge and Brenda Pickup come into the lineup for Prairie. Moldenauer and Anderson will take a seat. Time called by Kraveld. No, not in time. They say it's a 5-second count. Prairie will have the ball.
Todd, the guards weren't getting open for Lake Washington. They need one of the forwards to come from the front court and come back to pick up the ball because the guards are so well covered.
They have given Lake Washington a 20-second timeout. The ball will belong to Prairie, according to the signal, that they did not make the timeout call in time. As you can see, Roger Hansen talking things over with his team. Eighth state tourney appearance for the Kangaroos. Their victory in the semifinals, the first time they have won in the semis, as you see, sixth twice and seventh twice, so they are assured, win or lose, of their best finish ever at state. DJ Millay and Brian Strage, the officials in tonight's championship game. Cushing on the backside, lays it in. A little confusion by Lake Washington. Cushing with all 6 Prairie points.
Very well executed out of bounds play for Prairie.
Dürr, good speed, deflected by Grimm and turned over. Grimm in the forecourt with Kraveld, had Beveridge flying the other way. She pops the jumper.
Well, Todd, this is how Prairie scores their points. It's because of their aggressive defense, and it leads them into transition offense.
Lake Washington scored off the opening tap. It has been all Prairie since. Kraveld outside with Beveridge. Gets a back screen from Holmgren, tucked at the side of the backcourt, and it's picked up there by Wright. Pick up into the forecourt. She hit a big basket in their first round win over Bellarmine. Beveridge behind a screen, dumping into Cushing. She got around her defender and gets the roll that time. It's the first time she's beaten Girolami.
Well, Cushing had a nice move. She had her pin behind her. She took that first step to the basket towards the baseline and had her beat at that point.
8 for Courtney Cushing in the opening 4+ minutes. Another turnover. Beveridge recovering to make the steal.
Todd, Prairie anticipates so well, and they're so athletic at all positions. They're able to jump in front of what look like good passes.
You saw both teams off to a little bit of a sluggish start shooting. Batted away. They're going to call the reach on Holmgren that time as she tried to defend Mariko Wright. It's the 4th team foul on Lake Washington. Kelly Cole will come into the lineup for Lake Washington. Carolyn Ori will come in for Prairie when we return. We're in the first quarter of the WIAA 4A Girls Championship game. Prairie leads Lake Washington.
Here we are
are at Royal Casino.
Our favorite place.
Let's play Let It Ride, Caribbean Stud, Blackjack. Their pool tab bar is #1.
Henry, are you going into the pub to feast again?
Margaret, it's more than food. There's a Royal Sporting event on closed-circuit TV.
Henry, do you wish to be crowned again?
You know, suddenly I'm not hungry.
Royal Casino, open 24 hours a day. Great gaming from noon to 8 a.m. South Everett on Highway 99.
High rollers, $100 limit now in effect at Royal Casino.
The new millennium is almost here. Everything is changing, including the way we buy our cars. Oh, like finding a newer used car on the internet? There you'll find hundreds of auto dealerships. Selection, warranties, rebates, certified mechanics, you know, peace of mind. Yeah, now you can actually shop for a car with nothing on but a laptop. AutomallUSA.com.
Magic vs. Bird premieres March 28th on Fox Sports Net.
We welcome you back to the Tacoma Dome. The Prairie Falcons have scored 10 consecutive points after conceding the opening basket of the game. Their fans on their feet across the way. Beveridge baseline drawing Crayveld out with her. Pushing on the bench right now for Prairie. Beveridge gets the screen open. No, she stepped on the baseline. Good idea, just ran out of room.
Beveridge with tremendous speed. She went right by. No defender there. Had she not stepped out of bounds, she might have had that basket.
Swatted away from Crayveld, but it'll maintain Lake Washington possession. You get a look at senior Angela Beveridge. Maloney looking for some help. She's under pressure now. Dewar, they've used up 15 of the shot clock already. Turnovers fairly even, although Lake Washington has had more here in the last couple minutes. Girolami, and she's bumped along the baseline. Lowry with the foul, her first, and the third team foul on the Falcons.
Ori's the blue-collar worker for the Prairie Falcons.
A soccer defender as well for Prairie High School. Dewar trying to inbounds, batted away along the baseline, and it'll belong to Prairie. Good defense by Ori as she contested Kelly Cole for Lake Washington. Goldenauer pulling it back out now. The juggle there by pickup.
Play deep, play deep. Deep ball, Gina.
Falcons with a little shorter lineup right now. Right, backdoor cut. Goldenauer, first swat for Crayveld. She almost got the second as Beveridge shot misses. And we have a foul underneath on the rebound. That'll go against Prairie.
This is a beautiful block by Crayveld. Moldenhauer going to the basket. Tremendous timing. And as you mentioned, she almost got a second block as well. Crayveld is very athletic. Watch her here. Swats the ball. No contact, so no foul.
The foul call on the rebound went against Ori. That's her second personal. Pushing back in the ball game for Prairie. Dewar handling it there. Rondell passing to her, and it's batted away again by the Falcons. And a reach in on Dewar as well.
This is a frustration foul by Dewar. Passes the ball, really telegraphs her pass. No chance for that to get through. And once Prairie picks up the ball, she turns around and fouls. I think she was probably frustrated with herself, knowing that she needed to make a better pass.
Fifth team foul on the Kangaroos. Cushing outside. Can't get the drop. Good job by Beveridge on the boards. Got pinned a little bit too far underneath. And again, Crayveld able to outreach everybody for the rebound. Dewar bumping with Moldenauer. Lost her balance. Battled for the ball. It'll belong to Lake Washington. The officials had to confer on that one for a moment. Couple of scrappers right there.
Well, they were going after it. They've been going after it all night. Good defensive pressure by Moldenhauer, making it very difficult for Dewar to handle the ball.
Dewar inside for Krayveld, and she will go to the free throw line. Couldn't get it to drop, but she draws the foul. Call against Beveridge. That's her second personal, and the 5th team foul on Prairie.
Todd, Krayveld has so much offense that once she gets the ball in that position, she's either going to score or she's going to draw the foul because she's very agile, very mobile down in the low block. She's going to go to the basket because she can put the ball to the floor or just turn and shoot.
Jessica Jones, just a sophomore, one of the up-and-coming players in the Prairie program, in the lineup for them. And Dewar sits down for Lake Washington as Katrina Lee, a 5'8" senior, checks in. Krayveld on the board for the first time, and Lake Washington has points for the first time in 7 minutes.
Travel.
Cushing called for the walk. One thing that Prairie's defense can do, they will hold opponents scoreless for long stretches of time, sometimes at key points. They got it early in this game tonight.
Well, their defense is it's good team defense. It's not just at a few positions. It's very much a team, and they play well together.
They force another one there, but Cushing walks again, according to the officials. That brings Al Aldridge up off the bench, and you see the reaction of Courtney Cushing as well.
You make the call on the break. Ball goes to Cushing.
Yep.
Looks very much. You can see it in the replay. She did, in fact, stutter and was called for the travel.
The Falcons force another turnover as Lake Washington overthrows the ball again. Young lady headed to Santa Clara next year, Courtney Cushing.
And the woman with the ball, Moldenhauer, is going to the University of Portland. So 2 players going to Division I basketball. That says a lot about this program.
Jones holding it outside. Jumper up top and nailed by Mariko Wright. She had some big baskets for them against Cascade in the semifinals. Another steal. Jessica Jones yelled at, but that defense won't work by Jenny Rondell, and Jones lays it in at the buzzer. Prairie's defense forcing turnovers. It's all Prairie at the end of 1 quarter of play. Lake Washington perhaps showing a little bit of expected nerves in a first-time state championship game appearance, but the defending champs are up by 11 at the end of 1. This is the 4A Girls Championship.
Live from New York.
It's Saturday night.
It's the best of Saturday Night Live home video collection, only from Time Life Video.
I feel so sexy.
Now you can own the best of each season, starting with 1993.
Wow!
Call this number now and laugh at 93's funniest skits and characters for the special price of only $9.99.
Yes!
Order by credit card now and receive the Wayne's World Special video free, featuring classic moments with Wayne and Garth.
No way!
Then every month, preview over an hour of the very best of each year.
Wake up, babe. It's making me mental.
Wouldn't be prudent. Some man making coffee.
Relive Saturday Night Live at its best.
And that, okay.
Call now.
That's the ticket.
Call 1-800-914-1919 to order Saturday Night Live for only $9.99. Use your credit card and receive your free Wayne's World Special, or send check or money order to the address on your screen.
AAA, creating memories through participation in school activities, building better students, better schools, better communities.
1 quarter in the books. Prairie leads Lake Washington with an update. Here's Angie Arlotti.
Thanks, Todd. Speaking with Prairie coach Al Aldridge before the game, he said this is exactly what he wanted to see happen. He wanted to create pressure with his guards, make it difficult for Lake Washington's big kids to get it. And you see the turnovers, it's worked.
Thank you very much, Angie. The Falcons with the ball as we start our 2nd quarter of play. Moldenauer bringing it into forecourt. Cushing trying to get to the low block. They'll go outside, and the three-pointer for Lacey Grimm. She has 5 in the game. Krayveld getting it to Rondell. To Dewar. Brianna has been hawked all night long. Rondell looking for some help. Crayville trying to reset it. 12 on the shot clock for Dorr. Little lead elbow. Oh, they're going to call Jones for the foul. Wow. Looked like she made a pretty good steal, and she survived a pretty big bump, too, it appeared. First foul on that young lady.
Get a chance to see Jones here. Dorr picks the ball up. She can't do anything with it at this point. Looks like she basically hands the ball to Jones. That may have been a better no call.
Yeah, but it's the lead arm that concerned me. I was a little surprised they didn't make a call on that. Crayville on a curl. Can't get it to drop. Pulled down by Cushing, and a whistle on the board. Rondell will be called for the foul. That is her third.
Todd, Lake Washington needs to take advantage. When Crayville gets the basketball right in the center of the key, she needs to convert on those and finish. That's a good shot for her. That's a good look. They need to finish.
Both teams will be in the bonus for the remainder of the half. Jones waiting for Moldenauer to cut through. Little pick and roll. Left it short that time as Girolami came after her, but she chases it down. Now to Cushing. And she travels again. It's been about the only thing that's gone wrong for the Falcons tonight have been the extra steps of Courtney Cushing.
Well, I think Coach Aldridge is happy. They're at least attacking the basket. They're going, they're being aggressive. That's a good thing. Sometimes you can excuse some of those turnovers.
Kangaroos break the press, and Girolami draws the foul from Erica Moldenauer. That is her second and the 7th team foul, so Girolami will be at the free throw line. Brenda Pickup returns to the lineup for Prairie. Moldenauer will sit. Al Aldridge hollering at his team. And Laura Girolami, who stands well to the right of center at the free throw line. She's over nearly to the right elbow as she shoots, but it works.
What? Coming to you.
Couldn't get that one to triangulate. Crayville taps it a couple times, and it's last touched by Prairie. Girolami with 3 of the 4 Lake Washington points. Roger Hansen trying to come up with a solution for his team right now. Angela Beveridge returns for Prairie, replacing Jessica Jones.
Jessica Jones did a good job coming off the bench. It's one of the strengths that Prairie has, Todd. They've got great bench contribution. Matter of fact, for the tournament, they have the most production from the bench of any of the teams in the tournament.
Beveridge batting it loose but can't track it down, and Lake Washington will have the ball once again. It's a red wave right now, the way the Falcons have been playing defense all over the court. 20 on the shot clock as Lake Washington inbounds again. Interception by Beveridge. She stepped right around and anticipated that pass. She'll wait for the trailers. Nearly lost the handle.
Relax, relax, relax. Keep ball,
Pick up.
She's out of it.
Falcons will go to a 1-4 set. Everybody along the baseline this time. Pick up, tried to bounce it inside, and it was mishandled by Mariko Wright. Lake Washington with it. Dorr took the extra step. Lake Washington's Katrina Lee will return to the lineup. Long will take a seat for the Kangaroos. Inside the lay-in for Cushing as she got by Girolami. Toughest screen on the play was from the officials.
Well, Prairie's doing everything right. They're getting the outside shots. They're knocking those down. They keep pounding the ball into Cushing, and Cushing's converting when she gets it.
Backcourt foul on Brenda Pickup is her first, and the 8th team foul on the Falcons. And Dorr will come to the free throw line. She has scored in double figures in both the quarterfinals and semifinals for the Kangaroos.
Big game against Kent Meridian, 14 points. Talked to Coach Roger Hansen. He said she definitely is the most improved player on this Lake Washington team this season.
her first of the game.
Well, Dewar's got a tough assignment all night because she has a ball hawking guard playing defense on her, whether it's Jones or Moldenhauer or pickup. She's got a lot to contend with to get their team and their offensive set.
Jones back in for pickup. See Dewar has shot very well from the outside. Can't get the second free throw, and Cushing has the board. Cushing down. She appears to be okay. She's coming down the floor with some speed, so startled herself, I think, a little bit.
I think so. I think she twisted her ankle a bit, but she got up, and it looks like she's okay.
Hold against Annie Holmgren, her second personal foul, and Prairie will go to the free throw line. Little concern on that young lady's face after that spill, but reassures her teammates who are asking now. Beveridge at the line.
Angela Beveridge is a tremendous player to watch. She anticipates so well defensively, and she's got the athletic skills and tools to get where she wants to go. So not only does she have good basketball sense, but she can actually get there as well. And she's a player that's been bothered by, she was probably right now is only at 80%. She's had the flu most of the week. And I think it was Thursday night that she slept 16 hours.
Might as well just call it the Southwest Washington crud. It's been with everybody. Girolami quickly along the baseline. Nice first step for the senior, and she has 5.
Nice move by Girolami. That's exactly what Lake Washington needs, someone being aggressive and going to the hoop, other than just Crayfeld.
Grimm taking her time with Jones.
Hands up.
Beveridge, they ran the shot clock down to the wire, couldn't get it to drop, and Crayveld has the rebound.
Nice move.
And then throws it away. Coaches tell the big players, get it to a little as soon as you can. She nearly was able to coast as she did earlier in the tournament, but this time she turns it over. The turnovers continuing to be a problem for the Lake Washington Kangaroos. Roger Hansen continuing to talk to his players as we wait to return to action. Don't forget Fox Sports News Primetime coming your way later tonight on Fox Sports Northwest. Get the latest from the NBA and the NHL. March Madness continuing on the NCAA level. When you want to know what's going on with your favorite players and your favorite teams, including those little old Bulldogs from the east side of the state, it's Fox Sports News Primetime right here on Fox Sports Northwest. Grimm checking in at the bench.
I don't have 8 on my list, that's why.
Cushing, triple team, ball batted away. It'll belong to Prairie along the baseline. Right can't hit, chased down along the baseline, but she throws it away. Crayveld there, a tough one to get by sometimes. Dewar, she'll pull up for her first attempt at 3 and misses that badly. Jones chasing it down, it's a 2-on-2. Jones ahead of the pack, pulls up, lets everybody slide by and pops it home.
That's the second time tonight that Jones has done a good job of hesitating right under the basket, letting the defense go by her and then making her shot.
She who hesitates may find an open basket. Both Dewar and Crayveld slid by that time. Holmgren up high, Crayveld. Tough runner that time, battled off the backboard. They say it was touched by Prairie. Lake Washington will have the ball when we return to action. Carolyn Ori back in for Prairie. Janae Long in for Lake Washington.
Uh-oh, we got trouble. Please, not me. That's got to hurt.
Gracie!
We gotta do something.
Charge! She's back!
Let's go! Run, monkey, run! I'm not going to make it. She's gonna eat monkey. Not without milk.
Mom!
Got milk.
Who is the monkey now?
WIAA, creating memories through participation in school activities, building better students, better schools, better communities.
Back at the Tacoma Dome in the golden tresses, the fashion du jour for the Prairie Falcon fans. Inside, Girolami blocked. I think Beveridge got a piece of that, but she follows it up.
Somewhat unorthodox, but she still counts the same.
Laura Girolami trying to do all she can to keep Lake Washington in the game. She has 7 of the Kangaroos' 9 points. Jones skipped past a great screen for Beveridge, but she couldn't get it to drop. Crayveld with another board. Batted away by Beveridge. Long went down hard. Beveridge couldn't get to it. Lake Washington will have it. She's had a lot of swats, but they've been lateral rather than horizontal.
Exactly.
Andrea Anderson will return to the Prairie lineup for Angela Beveridge. Second leading scorer for the Falcons for this season, Beveridge, and she has not tallied yet today. Make it to second leading in the tournament, rather. 3rd overall for the season.
Lake Washington is getting more motion in their offense.
Girolami trying to skip it.
Yeah, that should help it open up somewhat for them. They've been forcing it right there, a forced shot by Lee, but the more motion they get, it'll give them an opportunity to break down the defense, and they need to be a little more patient.
Last touched by Cushing.
At least Long is going to the hoop right there. I'm sorry, at least Lee is going to the hoop. They need to continue to be aggressive because Prairie's the kind of team they can make you play laterally with your offense instead of attacking the basket.
Underneath. There we got it all working again.
Ori is another player that is fun to watch. He was in the right spot at the right time, was able to draw the foul. Good offensive rebounding position.
Laura Girolami called for her 2nd foul. Ori to shoot 1 and 1. Another nice board by Crayveld. Schools will be looking at her over the next year. I think she's got another year to go.
Well, Todd, you're right. And the thing about Crayveld is she's so mobile. She doesn't have to play a post position. She'll be she's very athletic. She can play a forward position. She can almost play the guard. She handles the ball very well.
Lee shuffled the feet that time. It's going to be interesting at halftime to see the discrepancy in the number of field goal attempts because Lake Washington, by turning the ball over, has had very few looks at the basket.
I'm sure those are some of the things that Roger Hansen's going to talk about. Controlling the basketball, making sure that you get an opportunity each time down the floor instead of turning it over.
Come on your toes, Ann.
Falcons very patient their last few times down the floor, realizing the clock can help them as much as anything else. Cushing ran out of options, didn't walk, but turned it over, and Long comes up with it. Crayveld called for over and back. Roger Hansen asking in for and receiving an explanation of the call.
Todd, we talked about Crayveld's ability to handle the ball, which is great, but they need to get her down closer to the basket on offense. They need their guards handling the ball so she can get down in position. It's going to wear her out too much, handling the ball and then also looking to score.
You saw Prairie shooting a little over 33%, Lake Washington around 22, but only 14 field goal attempts. Here's a young lady who's given her soul. We saw her down on the floor earlier. There's the right leg, but look up on her right shoulder as well, and she's got another bruise. There it is on the right shoulder. She's hit the deck a few times tonight throughout the tournament as well. 11 points now for Courtney Cushing. The last Lake Washington foul was on Girolami, her 3rd. First free throw miss for Cushing tonight, and Girolami able to pull down the rebound. Cushing with the 11, half of Prairie's points. Crayveld stopped nicely that time. Dewar, Girolami. We're trying to spin. She likes using that little lead arm, and they're going to catch Ori for the reach-in against Prairie. Third call on Ori. Mariko right back in for Prairie for Cushing. Beveridge in once again. She'll come in for Ori. $14 points a game for the season, 16 in the tournament. That's her second point of the game. Got them both. She's 3 for 4 at the line now. The margin exactly where it was at the end of the first quarter. Lacey Grimm again looking over, trying to find out, well, what set do you want us to run, Coach? Long forcing that. Little miss dribble. Krayveld read that perfectly.
Only 5 seconds on the shot clock.
Wright got inside Girolami, but couldn't get the shot up, and it'll belong to Lake Washington.
Good defensive set for Lake Washington. Too much dribbling by Prairie on top. Grimm needs to get rid of the basketball. I think she was trying to have the play develop, the 1-4, but need to do something quicker because Lake Washington played into it and was able to get the ball.
Kangaroos with some numbers this time, and Holmgren lays it in. Prairie can hold for one, but they're not going to bother. Beveridge, and she gets it swatted by Krayveld, and then a reach in on Jones. So some late quarter momentum for the Kangaroos.
You can feel it very much. It was with the stop that Lake Washington had last time down the floor against Prairie. A few good plays, and you can feel the momentum going. That's what they want going in at the half. Beveridge is going up. Again, the timing, Krayveld just times it perfectly, does not foul. She jumps so well, and Lake Washington gets the basketball and a chance for some points.
Well, one of the things Prairie's doing is that they are actually playing into her hands by not going at her. They're giving her that cushion room, and it's easier for a shot blocker to make that swat.
Well, Todd, that's a good point, and Krayveld is so intimidating that players back off and they play around her, and I think that does, as you say, very much allows her to block the shots. Players need to take it to her.
Falcons trying to get something back here before the horn. Grimm, quick shot by Beveridge, won't go. Lake Washington runs out the quarter by scoring the last 6 points. They whittle a 12-point deficit down to 7. Make it a 13-point deficit down to 7. They are as close as they have been since the game started. Prairie by 7 at the half.
Step right up.
When would you like to dance?
Garth, you lead.
Burn. Oh. Huh.
Got milk?
Royal Casino, our favorite place. Reminds me of Reno, Blackjack, Caribbean Stud, Let It Ride. No, Las Vegas, everything is so rich, so royal, so awesome. Sports bar is great. Royal Casino, the most popular privately owned casino in the state. Poltaire Bar ranked #1. I like being #1. Of course, dear, you're the king.
Royal Casino, open 24 hours a day. Great gaming from noon to 8 a.m. South Everett on Highway 99.
High rollers, $100 limit now in effect at Royal Casino.
Why should you buy a new or used vehicle from a dealership? Well, warranties, rebates, certified mechanics. Oh, and here's a couple more reasons. Ford, Honda, Jeep, Cadillac, BMW, Chrysler, Toyota, Volkswagen, Nissan, Mercedes, Audi, Mitsubishi, Volvo, Buick, Lexus, Chevrolet, Hyundai, Oldsmobile, Dodge, Subaru, Saab, Jaguar, Pontiac, Geo, Mazda, GMC, Kia, Saturn, Porsche, Eagle, Daihatsu, Range Rover, Land Rover, Lincoln, Mercury, Isuzu, Suzuki, Plymouth, Acura. Bottom line for buying from a dealership? Selection. AutomallUSA.com.
We welcome you back to the Tacoma Dome, just about ready to start the second half of the WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington 4A Girls Championship game. Quickly, Prairie 32% from the floor to 26 for Lake Washington. Biggest difference, though, 25 field goal attempts for the Falcons to 15 for the Kangaroos. Nancy.
Todd, there's no question that's the statistic that just jumps out, and part of it is because of the defensive pressure of Prairie that Lake Washington hasn't been able to get in their offensive set and any kind of offensive rhythm. I know that Roger Hansen talked about that at halftime. They definitely need to execute better. They need to take more shots.
Well, whatever they talked about, they got Catherine Crayveld open off the start for her first field goal. Now Rondell down the floor. Missed a shot that could have cut it to 3, but there's a foul on the rebound.
Well, we've talked a lot about Crayveld, but Rondell's got to be a part of the action as well as Girolami, so that Crayveld doesn't carry all the weight offensively on her shoulders.
The foul call was against Mariko Wright. That is her first foul of the game.
First one, right?
Jenny Rondell, who had 10 in the win over Kent Meridian, gets her first point of the night.
Well, and she was a player that was out her sophomore year because of knee surgery, so you can see the brace on her right knee.
Second one boarded by Mariko Wright, but Prairie needs to get a little momentum going right now. They had a 14-point lead with 3.5 minutes to go in the second quarter. Since then, they have been outscored rather severely by Lake Washington to the tune of 11-1. That attempt won't go, and the rebound by Girolami. Crayveld up top. You see the height advantage she has against Beveridge.
No.
Beveridge is such a strong defender that Coach Aldridge wanted to put her on Crayveld to see what she could do.
Rondell can't hit. Crayveld kept it alive, and Girolami puts it in. She did not get a body, did Beveridge, on Crayveld, and that gave Lake Washington the second chance.
Well, it gets to be a mismatch when Beveridge is down low with Crayveld to defend. Up top, I don't think it's as much a problem.
Al Aldridge was up off the bench reminding Angela Beveridge at the same point as the Falcons came back down the floor. Moldenauer. Swatted away. She's trying to find Cushing, who's being defended pretty well. Has to put up the 3 at the buzzer and gets it. A big roar from the Falcon fans across the way, and a much needed basket right there.
Well, that's exactly what Prairie needed. They've been forcing it into Cushing. She's well covered. She's been drawing the double and triple team. They needed someone to hit, and no surprise that Moldenauer steps up and gets the outside shot.
And they forced the turnover immediately as well. That was a big basket because Lake Washington could have come down and tied or taken a lead. Bad pass by Grimm, a nice step around by Girolami.
We talked at the Open. These are both teams that look for their...
There she goes. Crayveld from the outside. She's showing it all now.
Hey, she hit 6 of 7 3-pointers in a game earlier this season. She is fun to watch.
Beveridge along the baseline, no help, and she gets her first points of the game. Our intensity level picking up just a bit here in the opening minutes of the third quarter.
If this intensity continues, I think this is very much the tempo that favors Prairie.
Dorr left alone, beating the double team. She has 5, and the shots Lake Washington couldn't hit earlier are now able to hit.
Timeout.
Timeout called by Prairie. We're waiting to see. It is a 20-second timeout by the Falcons, so we'll keep it here. As we said before, it was 21-7 Prairie midway in the second quarter. Give Lake Washington credit for coming back since then. As Roger Hansen talks to his team, we check in with Angie Arlotti.
Thanks, Todd. At halftime, Lake Washington coach Roger Hansen said to his team, said that his team was just shell-shocked offensively, and he's happy they're actually even within striking distance. Offensively, he said they're just not executing, but he is happy with the way they were playing defense. On the other side, Prairie coach Al Aldridge said they needed to get momentum back, and they had a good start, but started to miss too many close shots around the rim. Todd?
Thanks very much, Angie. Jessica Jones set to inbound for Prairie. Rim up top with Moldenauer.
It's a moving screen!
They lost the ball there for a second as Long was playing a tight rim for 3. Pulled down by Girolami. Rondell, 1-on-3. She's going to try to take him on for a moment. Girolami back outside.
Good job tossing the ball back to Dewar right there.
Crayveld left alone as she crept in from the outside and put it home. We are tied for the first time since 2-2.
Well, this is a different Lake Washington team that we're seeing in the second half. They're playing, I think, better defense, but it's also fueling their offense. Their offense looks much different than it did in the first half.
Well, they've done a very good job of denying the ball to Courtney Cushing. Now she gets a look and draws the foul from Crayveld. She'll have a chance for the three-point play. First foul of the game on Crayveld.
Lake Washington, one of the things they're getting is help from a number of different players. Crayveld here on the putback after the initial shot by Dewar. That's what they need. Dewar hit one from the outside as well. This is just pure muscle and hard work by Cushing. She gets the ball on the inside and she's going to make something happen. She puts her body against Crayveld and draws the foul.
Well, it's the first time she's really had a good look to the ball, as Lake Washington had denied her the last few times down the floor. Can't get the free throw. It's tapped and then controlled by Holmgren. Cushing with 13 to lead Prairie. Crayveld in double figures now with 10 for Lake Washington. The lob for her inside. She's surrounded by red shirts. I believe they're pointing towards Cushing. Let's check and see. No, it will go against Lacey Grimm. That is her first personal, the second team foul on Prairie. We have a ball game. It's a two-point contest midway through the third quarter. This is the WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington Girls 4A Championship.
You're watching Fox Sports Northwest.
Uh-oh, we got trouble. Please, not me. That's got to hurt.
Gracie!
We gotta do something.
Charge! She's back! Let's go! Run, monkey, run!
I'm not going to make it. She's gonna eat monkey. Not without milk.
Mom!
Got milk.
Who is the monkey now?
WIAA, creating memories through participation in school activities, building better students, better schools, better communities.
Prairie 29, Lake Washington 27. We get another update from Angie Arlotti.
Thanks, Todd. During the timeout, Lake Washington head coach Roger Hansen said because Prairie likes to fly around on defense, they need to try to take advantage and find the open girl. So far, they've been able to do that here in the second half.
They have done a pretty good job since, well, actually about this point in the second quarter when they were way down and some folks were wondering if the game was over and done and in the bag. Long inside little bump off there by Holmgren goes uncalled. She follows up her miss and draws a foul on Cushing. First personal on Courtney Cushing, but I think they missed the initial lead arm on the first attempt by Holmgren.
I would agree with you, but it's because of Holmgren's second effort that even brings her to the charity stripe right here.
Third team foul on the Falcons this half. Annie Holmgren with 2 points in the game. Her first trip to the free throw line.
Holmgren's low. She doesn't go up as strong against Cushing as she should, and I agree. I think Cushing might have
that
fouled.
time too. She bumped her both times.
Yeah, I think Cushing got away with one the first time.
Oh, I meant the other way around. Holmgren initiated contact both times. I thought she bumped in, but the Falcons mishandled the rebound as well. Lake Washington will have it along the baseline. It's right through Cushing. Girolami lost the handle for a minute. Nice job, and she gets it to Long. Swatted loose again. Girolami's been everywhere tonight. Crayveld up top. Long batted loose and stolen. Jessica Jones with the steal, and Long on the reach gets her first foul.
Jones has got great hands. She had 4 steals in the game against the victory against Cascade. Tremendous timing.
Grimm walking it up slowly. Now Moldenhauer will take over up top. Doing some good defense there on Grimm. She was trying to run off that curl and pop it up. Jones. Tough lob. Nice catch by Moldenhauer. 4 on the shot clock, as you see. And the bank in goes. A 2-pointer. You don't think that young lady knows how to shoot? She was a national hoop shoot champion at the age of 14, was Jessica Jones, and she's going to be draining them for a couple more years to come.
Good pass.
Falcons force another turnover and then draw the foul as Holmgren comes over the top for her 3rd personal.
3 on Annie. 3 on Annie. Annie, come on, White. Come on.
Crayveld on the drive, looking low. Good hands. That's what Prairie does so well. They anticipate, they step into the passing lane. Holmgren ends up picking up a foul.
Yeah, Jones just popped out of nowhere that time defensively. Cushing trying to get to the block, and Crayveld beating her. They go outside. The 3 for Grimm won't go, and Dewar the long rebound. Crayveld outside to Girolami, stripped by Jones. Held ball is the call. It'll belong to Prairie.
Once again, Jones with the quick hands. She's able to get away and anticipate well enough. She doesn't get called for many fouls because she just anticipates so well. She's right there. That's fun for guards to be able to take the ball away from those tall forward and centers.
We'll look again at 5'7" sophomore Jessica Jones. She's averaged 5 points a game in the tournament. Want to know another reason they like her good hands? She's the soccer team's goalie. They must have a low goals against average with hands like that. Katrina Lee back in the lineup for Lake Washington. And Brenda Pickup checks in for Prairie. She's on the far side of your screen there. Dewar batting it loose, couldn't hang on to it. It'll be Prairie's ball. 9 on the shot clock. Courtney Cushing has a cut along the right leg just below her kneecap, so she's going to have to check out. Carolyn Ori comes back in for Prairie.
Don't push, Eri! Don't push!
Pickup set to inbound, and a whistle and a hold called against Lake Washington. Long with the call. It's her 2nd personal foul.
Stack.
14 fouls on the Kangaroos in the half. Jones changed her mind at the last second, couldn't get it to drop. Crayveld pressured in backcourt. Lee. Girolami, she holds the defender off nicely, can't get the drop, and Pickup comes flying in.
That's a nice set, though, for Lake Washington. Nice look at the basket, the inbound pass. Girolami just not able to convert.
Pickup, good entry, but Mariko Wright took her eyes off the ball as it was coming in. Angela Beveridge will return for Prairie. And Jessica Jones will take a seat. Good overplay. Wright knocking that one out of bounds. This team gives up court space grudgingly.
They are tough. They make it tough just to get the ball over the half court and then to get it into your offense. They take a lot of time off the clock by their constant pressure.
And they force turnovers like that.
One of the things that Prairie tries to do is just to wear teams down. Every time they put pressure on, they don't expect to turn the ball over to force the steal, but it just takes its toll on teams, particularly, I think, in the second half.
Ori down the lane, Crayveld with another block, her 3rd unofficially. To Dewar. Threads the needle, but a tough pass that time for Long.
Dewar did a heck of a job to get that pass through. I think there was just too much spin on it. Crayveld's going to go down in the history book somewhere. Once again, another block by Crayveld. Dewar, watch this pass. She gets it through, and it was just mishandled on the receiving end by Long.
Kangaroos tied a state tournament record with 12 team blocks in their semifinal win over South Kitsap. Cushing, who checked back in during that break, holding it there, now gets it down low. Crayveld can't get a block on that one. The Falcons get the ball back, and then a reach in against Katrina Lee while she was down on the floor. That is her first and the 5th team foul.
But when they tell you to crash the boards, that's exactly what Angela Beveridge does here. The shot up by Cushing, nobody's there, and it's Beveridge that comes crashing through, gets the ball, and draws the foul.
Both teams have been guilty at times of not blocking out well on the defensive boards, and they've paid for it. Beveridge lost the dribble, finally gets some help now from pickup. Closing seconds of the quarter, and the Falcons scramble to get in position. Dewar stepped in on pickup. She's looking at the referee and can't believe the call, but she took a big step in and draws her second personal.
Get a chance to see defense by Dewar. She needs to have her feet planted, otherwise they're going to call that on her every time, and she was moving.
She checks out of the lineup with that foul. Kelly Cole comes in for the Kangaroos. From the baseline corner, no good by Moldenauer, and that'll end the 3rd quarter of play. Lake Washington rallied from the 7-point halftime deficit to tie it. Prairie scored the final 4 points of the quarter. That's their margin as we go to the 4th.
When man and machine come together at the Grand Prix of Miami, presented by Toyota. Sunday, March 21st, 4 p.m. Eastern, 3 Central on ABC. Way to go, guys! Karts FedEx Championship Series.
This is where the fun is every night. It's the Riverside Casino. You should try it tonight. There's Vegas style blackjack, great food too. All your favorite games, plus there's so much to do. It's the Riverside Casino. Get to the best casino, North Arena. The best casino, North Arena. It's a party at the Riverside Casino.
There's this girl in Olympia. I wanted her to know I'm thinking about her. You know, something that says that I want us to stay close.
You want my advice, son?
Go home. Give her a call.
Call US West and get local long distance for just 9 cents a minute anytime.
Thanks.
It only costs a little, but it means a lot. US West, life's better here.
Great.
Back at the Tacoma Dome, 31-27, Prairie leads. Cole with it outside for the Kangaroos. Crayveld's baseline shot falls short. It's grabbed there by Moldenauer. Underneath, Crayveld batting it free. She can't control it. The Falcons will have it as Catherine Crayveld makes a temporary visit to the Prairie bench. Falcons 12 of 36. That made them 4 of 11 for the quarter. Lake Washington was 5 of 10 in the quarter, and Cushing called for the walk.
Cushing lost her balance, and it was the best she could do to try to get the shot off, but she traveled before she released the basketball.
Rondell working in the backcourt now as Crayveld goes into forecourt. Nearly swiped away. Holmgren looking low. Crayveld got open underneath, and she'll go to the line. The foul on Wright.
Well, the reason Crayveld got that is because of the mismatch, and they did a good job, Lake Washington, getting the ball. Holmgren sees that it's a mismatch with Marika Wright and a nice basket, and you can see Lake Washington bench. They want to see more of that.
Fourth team foul on the Falcons. Krayveld with a chance to cut it to 1. Left it short. And a turnover. Lacey Grimm trying to force it down the floor, but Lake Washington gives it right back. Long called for the double dribble. Beveridge in pickup in the backcourt. Cushing gets her first points of the quarter, 15 in the game now. And a foul on the inbounds pass.
Red 33.
Go get him, Bree.
Prairie has such depth. They continue to bring fresh legs off the bench, and they don't lose anything. They have such a strong bench that they actually can more than maintain what they're doing. They keep going because they've got such talented players all the way down the bench.
And they force another turnover. Grimm, her first points of the half, 7 in the game. Cushing overstriding that time, and she pumps into Long. Second foul on Courtney Cushing.
Well, and Cushing has a problem of getting into foul trouble. That's not the kind of foul they want her to pick up. They want, if she's going to pick up a foul, they want it in the paint, defending the basket rather than out 20 feet away from the basket.
Dewar with it, top of the key. Tough shot for Holmgren, can't get it, follows it back up. Scramble along the baseline, and finally out of the pack comes pickup.
There she goes, Katie!
Beveridge down low, Cushing walks again. That's at least the 8th time that she has done that. And very quickly, Krayveld comes back in for the Kangaroos.
Cushing gets a little anxious. The inbound or the pass inside to the low post, and she shuffles her feet. We don't get a chance to see it as well there, but she has done it at least a half a dozen times tonight.
All that nervousness, the Kangaroos turn it right back over. You wonder how dominant a night she might have in the low block if she were able to avoid a few of those turnovers.
Well, they're definitely getting the ball into her in a position that she can score or draw the foul.
Pickup waiting as her team sets up. Grimm left alone just inside the stripe, can't get it. Dewar had it, lost it, gets it back again. Girolami, who's been quiet this half. Rondell, Krayveld. Dewar looked as though her feet were on the stripe. They put up a 3. The follow won't go for Holmgren, and the Kangaroos knock it out of bounds. You can see that height advantage they have down on the low block, Lake Washington.
Well, it surprises me, Todd. They haven't been able to use it effectively. They've got some of their taller players playing away from the basket rather than doing a triangle offense and getting closer to the basket.
Al Aldridge talking to Angela Beveridge. A 20-second timeout taken by Lake Washington. That's their last 20 of the game. Roger Hanson reviewing with his team. Angie Arlotti, what do you have for us?
Well, Todd, during the last timeout, Roger Hanson telling his team with the press play, they've got to concentrate on their passes and do a better job of setting up the offense. At the Prairie bench, Al Aldridge telling his team to try to take advantage of Lake Washington's ball handling in the backcourt to create turnovers. Todd?
Thank you, Angie. Some of the Falcon fans over across the way, hoping their team That little HTR on the arm there, standing for Hold the Rope, a team motto. Actually started back in the fall.
With the volleyball team at Prairie High School.
Meaning that if one falters on the rope, someone else, the rest of the team can be expected to hold the rope and help support the individual. Nice pass underneath. The assist for Beveridge, the basket for Ori, and she'll go to the line.
I'm not sure Grimm was ready for that pass, but she reacted well and was able to get the shot off. Beveridge fires the pass right there to Grimm. Grimm does a good job of hanging on to it. I'm sorry, Ori.
And the foul by Annie Holmgren is her fourth. Kept alive, and the Falcons will maintain possession. That could be important. Prairie has scored the last 6 points in the game. Grimm left alone as the defense walks away. She cannot get it to drop. Held ball, and Prairie will keep possession again. Yeah, I don't want to say the folks are too psychic here. They've already given out the all-tournament team at the start of the fourth quarter. We'll tell you a little bit more about that at the end of the game. Pickup set to inbound. Grimm, pickup, Crayveld at her. Wise decision there.
That's a tremendous mismatch.
And they call her for turning over the ball.
Mismatch right there where you have pickup against Crayfeld.
Come on, come on.
Erica Moldenauer will come back in for Prairie for Brenda Pickup.
You changed the arrow on that jump ball right down there? We just had a jump ball and it was red ball, so it should be white ball, right?
Officials checking on that wonderful alternating possession clock, making sure that it is set properly. Dewar sprinting into forecourt. Girolami. Holmgren lobbing inside and a whistle on the pass. Falcons had swatted it away, but I think they're going to catch Ori with the push defensively. That is the call, and that is the fourth foul on Carolyn Ori, so Courtney Cushing will quickly come back into the ball game. And interesting, Cushing has had foul problems in the quarterfinals and semis. It's Ori, the reserve, who sits down with 4 fouls tonight.
Well, Ori gave him some good minutes, and at this point, Coach Aldridge wants to keep Cushing in the game.
Crayveld with 11 of her 14 coming in the second half. She ends the run of 6 straight points for the Falcons. Beveridge got a step on Rondell. Guess who? Crayveld there again. Grimm for 3. Another 3-pointer for Lacey Grimm. She has 10. Double figures for the second time in the tournament. Girolami finally gets a field goal. Laura with 11, just 4 in this half after she carried Lake Washington in the second quarter. Grimm, back-to-back threes.
Todd, if you're Lake Washington, you've got to get out on Grimm. She's having a hot streak right now. She's a tremendous shooter and has great range. They need to come out and contest those shots.
Timeout called by Lake Washington. Lacey Grimm with back-to-back threes. The Prairie Falcons won the state 4A volleyball tournament. Will they capture another basketball crown?
From Johnson to Jordan to Jameson, it's college basketball's most coveted trophy. This year, will it be Miller time? A Riptide? A brand name, Mateen Singh, Wally's World, or Terry's Trophy. Only Fox Sports Net brings you the live announcement of the John R. Wooden Award, presented by Imogen Medical Technologies. The award that honors a legendary career presented to the nation's top player. Live April 2nd on Fox Sports Net.
WIAA, creating memories through participation in school activities, building better students, better schools, better communities.
We're back at the Tacoma Dome, the Dairy Farmers of Washington, WIAA 4A Girls Championship basketball game. Defending champion Prairie leading Lake Washington midway through the fourth quarter. The Kangaroos in their first tournament appearance, and right now Lacey Grimm's providing the cushion for the Falcons.
Absolutely nobody close to her for Lake Washington defensively. They have got to get someone out there because she can hit those all night long.
Durer in traffic gets the basket and the foul. She loves the contact, doesn't she? She has 7. The foul call will go against Goldenauer, her third.
Well, Durer does a good job getting the drive. It looks like she traveled on the replay to me, but they call the foul. She got the basket, and she'll be at the line.
Gets the three-point play, and she has 8.
Lake Washington in their player-to-player defense.
Grimm to Cushing down low, double teamed and batted away. Holmgren got a piece of it.
Well, good defensive help by Rondell to come over and seal the baseline.
Moldenauer waiting, and she finally calls a timeout. No one moving on the inbounds play for the Falcons. They'll take a full timeout, Will Prairie, with 3:16 remaining in the quarter.
Todd, there's a point where Lake Washington might have to come out with some more full court pressure or some kind of three-quarters court zone just in order to get something going with only a little over 3 minutes remaining in the game.
Well, while we've got a moment, we can tell you about some of the members of the Class 4A Girls All-Tournament team. They picked a first and second team and an honorable mention. Well, before we do that, we'll go to Angie Arlotti.
Thanks, Todd. In the timeout, before Coach Aldridge even came into the huddle, you heard the familiar cry, hold the rope. He said they need to manage the clock here down the stretch. They just have a couple more minutes. Hang on, ladies.
Thank you, Angie. Al Aldridge coaching his team to a state championship in 93, 94, and 98. A third place finish in 95. It's been an interesting decade as Southwest Washington area has grown. And we said earlier, Prairie going from a 2A to a 3A and then bumping up to the Class 4A when that move was made a year ago.
Well, and Aldridge has very much been the architect of this incredible program.
Cushing rejected again by Crayveld. She may set a tournament record for individual blocks. As we said, she has a year to go.
Crayveld at the point, oddly enough.
Batted away, chase for it. It'll remain with Lake Washington, but seconds left on the shot clock. And having Crayveld dribbling the ball 25 feet away from the basket isn't the best you can do when you're down 7.
I would agree with you. And even if she's doing a give and go and going to the basket, I think she can be more effective away from the ball, coming towards the ball, because when she gets the ball in the paint, she is hard to stop. See, this is where Lake Washington continues to be frustrated. They don't have a good offensive set and offensive rhythm, and they're not able to get off an effective shot.
Cushing with the offensive board, and she draws the foul. Long with the foul, her third personal.
Heads up play by Cushing. The ball comes off. She gets it. She's in a position where it's very difficult to get a good look at the basket, but she knows right there you've got to put it back up and anticipate some contact.
Cushing's had a pretty solid night at the free throw line, but after hitting her first 5, she missed her last 3 now. Gets that one. She has 16 in the game. pulled down by Beveridge, swatted away by Crayvell, but it goes to Moldenauer. Beveridge, they like to run. They haven't had many chances tonight, but Angela Beveridge puts a big one home. The lead is back up to 10. They're starting to feel it on the Prairie sideline.
Well, that was a nice finish by Beveridge. She had the lead position, and she went right to the hoop.
Crayvell driving the lane, can't get it to drop. Cushing pulls it loose. Moldenauer checking over her shoulder. Falcons content to run a little bit of time right here.
Basically a weave by the 3 guards, just trying to run the shot clock down and manage the time, the remaining time, as effectively as they can.
Cushing can't get the drop. Grimm the rebound, and she's fouled as she tries to get it back outside. The call goes against Dewar. It's her 3rd personal. Grimm unable to hit. Dewar into forecourt.
Wait for people, wait for people. No one's there to rebound.
Crayvell shuffled the feet. Well, the Kangaroos are going to come up short, but you give them a lot of credit. Down 11 at the end of 1 and down 14 midway in the 2nd quarter to the defending state champs. They could have packed it up and gone home. They fought back and they tied it in the 3rd quarter before Prairie was able to pull away.
Well, I'm impressed with Lake Washington. They're a younger team. We haven't mentioned tonight that Prairie returned 4 starters from the state championship team a year ago, so they're a more experienced team, but Lake Washington has certainly given them a run.
Timeout called by Prairie with less than a minute to go. Prairie will finish the season 24-2, but they've got some other incredible numbers. We'll tell you more about those when we return to the Tacoma Dome after this timeout.
What's it really like? It's a body pump class at lunch.
It's just 1 more mile. It's a hard ride and no rain.
It's mastering a challenge. It's having someone to watch the kids. It's going for the extra lap.
It's 2 more reps than before.
It's a sauna. Or maybe a steam. It's all the great new equipment.
It's crunching till it burns. It's a little friendly slam and jam.
It's having fun with my friends.
It's the way it makes you feel.
24-hour fitness. It's all this and more. This month, get 50% off. Call 1-800-204-2400.
The WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington Class 4A Girls Basketball Championship game on Fox Sports Northwest has been brought to you by Car Toys, a better way to go for car stereos, car alarms, radar, pagers, and cell phones. By the Money Tree, your cash solution. And by Gifford Industries, the gym floor people, dedicated to quality, committed to value. Back at the Dome, and Lacey Grimm at the free throw line for the first time tonight. An all-league selection in soccer as a midfielder, a 4-year starter for this Falcon team, and ready to wrap things up with back-to-back state championships.
Well, Todd, she's more than started for this basketball team. She actually started every game in 4 years in softball and soccer. There's just 1 game she hasn't started for basketball, but she started for all of those other sports, so she's very much an all-sport, all-around athlete.
Crayveld from the outside drains the 3. She has 17. Lake Washington tried to call a timeout, was unsuccessful. Beveridge holding on to it. Moldenauer. And she will go to the free throw line. We mentioned before the break, Prairie 24-2 with the win in the championship game. They will finish the season on a 22 consecutive game winning note. But what's even more interesting for Al Aldridge and his team, this will be their 44th consecutive victory over teams from the state of Washington. It goes back to their district championship 2 years ago when they lost to Mountain View. The only losses this year have been to Lake Mary High School of Florida, the Florida State champions, and to Reynolds, North Carolina, a nationally ranked team. Both those losses coming in a holiday tournament played in Tennessee.
That's an amazing record, and again, you've got to give credit to Aldrich for the program that he has been the architect and very much developed.
Bringing the seniors out now, Lacey Grimm, a big night, 14 points, matching her total in the semis as Jessica Jones comes in. Brenda Pickup will come in. Somebody has to come out, and it's Erica Moldenauer. She didn't want to leave the court. Stolen by Beveridge. Pickup will have a chance to get into the scoring column now. She had a big basket, as we said, in their opening round win. They trailed Bellarmine Prep late, one of the toughest teams they've played in a while, and came back to pull it out in the closing minute.
You can see the smile. They're starting to relax, and they recognize they've got this one.
Well, she's also smiling because she knows she's staying in. She's a junior and a reserve. Falcons waiting to clear the bench now.
Although Prairie loses some key seniors, they've got an awful lot of good players coming, underclassmen that are coming up.
Mandy Hamburg, Heather Cushing, and Andrea Anderson in for the Falcons. Beveridge, Ori, Cushing all out. Courtney, that is. Dewar underneath. And Long gets her first points of the game. Lake Washington able to call a timeout. They're down by 8 with a little more than 20 seconds to go. Well, we were going to tell you a little bit about the all-tournament team. While we've got a timeout now, we will. Well, no, we won't. We're going to go to a commercial, they've just told us. And so, honest, we'll get it to you eventually. We'll be back at the Tacoma Dome after this.
This simple-looking device is the key to discovering your hidden potential. It can change the look and shape of every line and curve on your body. Because it's the weight, the challenge, and the secret behind one of the most effective fitness machines in the world. Introducing the Bowflex Power Pro. Bowflex uses patented power rod resistance to give you an incredibly smooth, natural feel for over 60 different health club quality exercises. With features like a built-in aerobic rowing exercise, convertible grips, and convenient folding capabilities, it's easy to see why a Bowflex was selected by Fitness Magazine as the best home gym. It's time to get the results you want with no money down and payments as low as $33 a month. Call right now for your free video and brochure and discover the look you've always wanted with the Bowflex Power Pro.
Back at the Tacoma Dome, before we wrap things up, we want to recognize and congratulate the members of the all-tournament first team. Michelle Demetric from Tahoma High School, Morgan Bennett from Meade, who played very well for the Panthers, Emily Autry of Kamiakin. As expected, Catherine Crayveld of Lake Washington on that team, and she is the only junior on the all-tournament first team. And also Courtney Cushing, who has been selected as the state tournament most valuable player. Interesting, they've decided to bring the seniors back out for one last curtain call here in the closing seconds. They're all back out on the floor.
I think they're giving them a chance to be acknowledged by the fans. This is a team that now is going to win back-to-back state championships, and it's in large part because of these seniors on the floor.
Brianna Duras fouled out of the ball game. She leaves with 8 points, and Jill Martin, a sophomore, will come in for the Kangaroos.
Dewar did a nice job for Lake Washington tonight. She was hounded all night at the point position, and yet did a good job of controlling the ball and trying to get Lake Washington into their offense.
Lacey Grimm has been the key to the fourth quarter for Prairie. 10 of her 15 points have come this quarter, making 11 of 16, and back come the subs one more time.
Platoon substitutions.
I'm not sure why they wanted that one more try or one more curtain call, but they got it. Crayveld with 3 around her. Long. Girolami from deep. Crayveld had it stripped away. Prairie playing defense to the end. Short for Martin. And the Kangaroos will have it with a little less than 2 seconds to go. Callie Spooner, a freshman, going to check in for Prairie, and she will give Jessica Jones a break. So Spooner getting a couple seconds at least to the state championship game as a freshman, and she's 6'3" right there ball hawking. She'll be back as well. Crayveld can't get it to drop as it goes over the backboard at the end. A gallant effort by Lake Washington after they fell way behind early, but the Prairie Falcons make it back-to-back Class 4A championships with a 51-41 win over the Kangaroos of Lake Washington, who have no reason to be ashamed at all as they put up a very strong effort in their first state championship final appearance. Some tears there, the seniors, as their career is over. Long knowing that she's played her final uniform, but Nancy, they've got a lot to be proud of in their first appearance in a final game.
Well, and they've got a lot to look forward to with Crayveld coming back and some other strong players, so I don't think they should hang their heads at all. I agree. Prairie once again known for their defense, and that was the difference tonight.
And as the champions take to the floor, they're ready to, you think they haven't practiced this one for a while? While they go into the soft shoe, Angie Arlotti is standing by with the chief choreographer, Al Aldridge. Angie?
Thanks, Todd. Al, everyone assumed you'd be back here again this year. Did that put pressure on you guys, or did that take it off?
No, we felt quite a bit of pressure all year. We had an easy time in our league, and we didn't know how we were going to play in big games under pressure, but we did a good job tonight. I'm really happy.
With about 2 minutes left in the game, you could just sense this huge momentum shift, and you all started to pull away.
Yeah, Lacey, when she hit those 2 threes, it was, the kids were really feeling it right then.
Finally, second straight state title. Is this one sweeter than the first?
They're all sweet. This is the 4th in the decade here, and we're the only team that's won a 4A state championship in Washington, so we feel real good about that.
Well, congratulations, Coach.
Thank you very much.
All right, Todd, back to you.
AA and AA. Thank you very much, Angie Arlotti and Al Aldridge. And it has been quite a decade for the Prairie Falcons. It'll be a nice-looking trophy in the case at Lake Washington High School. It's not the one they wanted, but the Kangaroos with their best finish ever at a state tournament. The Prairie Falcons waiting to accept their trophy, as their coach mentioned, their 4th of the decade. We'll be back to the Tacoma Dome right after this timeout.
Tonight on Fox Sports News Primetime. The hardcourt hysteria continues. Get all the action from the Sweet 16 as we march on towards the Final Four. Plus, Orlando takes its magic act to the Big Apple. And time for another installment of How the Worm Turns. And on the last word, Jim Rome dances with the Blue Devils, Shane Battier and William Avery. Get the last word on March Madness. Fox Sports News Primetime, followed by the last word tonight starting at 10.
This simple-looking device is the key to discovering your hidden potential. It can change the look and shape of every line and curve on your body. Because it's the weight, the challenge, and the secret behind one of the most effective fitness machines in the world. Introducing the Bowflex Power Pro. Bowflex uses patented power rod resistance to give you an incredibly smooth, natural feel for over 60 different health club quality exercises. With features like a built-in aerobic rowing exercise, convertible grips, and convenient folding capabilities, it's easy to see why a Bowflex was selected by Fitness Magazine as the best home gym. It's time to get the results you want with no money down and payments as low as $33 a month. Call right now for your free video and brochure and discover the look you've always wanted with the Bowflex Power Pro.
From Fox Sports Net Films. In 1979, two college kids from the Midwest battled for the title. And when the smoke cleared, the game would never be the same again. Rare footage leading up to the historic night broadcast accounts of the Final Four.
The Bird against Magic. This crowd is going crazy.
And an unprecedented get-together with the men whose rivalry captured the country's imagination. Magic vs. Bird premieres March 28th on Fox Sports Net.
And we welcome you back to the Tacoma Dome. 51-41 Prairie with the victory over Lake Washington as the Falcons capture their back-to-back 4A championships, their fourth state title of the decade. And Nancy Yolden, it was a seesaw battle. For a while we thought it was going to be one-sided. Credit again to Lake Washington, the Kangaroos playing well. In the end, some tournament experience from Prairie, and they pulled it open.
Well, Prairie has all of that experience, and I think early in the first part of the game, it looked like they were just going to take it to Lake Washington. But as you mentioned, give them credit because Lake Washington kept coming back. But Lacey Grimm had a great game late in the game, particularly with some big baskets, and Prairie pulled away.
An experienced team and several seniors departing, including 2 Division I scholarships, but you get the hunch that Al Aldrich has a few more players in that closet down in Southwest Washington.
Well, he's really developed a program, and that means developing those players in the junior high and even before that. So he's got a lot more to look forward to at Prairie High School.
Prairie with the state championship. Again, our congratulations to Lake Washington as well as the Prairie Falcons as they finish out the season 24-2 and with their back-to-back state championships. For Nancy Yolden and Angie Arlotti, I'm Todd Pickett. We thank you for joining us for the WIAA Dairy Farmers of Washington Girls 4A Basketball Championship. The final score, Prairie wins its 4th state championship of the decade, defeating Lake Washington 51-41 from the Tacoma Dome. So long, everybody.
Tonight on Fox Sports News Primetime. The hardcourt hysteria continues. Get all the action from the Sweet 16 as we march on towards the Final Four. Plus, Orlando takes its magic act to the Big Apple. And time for another installment of How the Worm Turns.
And on the last word,
Jim Rome dances with the Blue Devils, Shane Battier and William Avery get the last word on March Madness. Fox Sports News Primetime, followed by the last word tonight starting at 10.
This week on Rewind, San Diego Padres GM Kevin Towers gives us an inside view on how to play the game of baseball from the front office.
The day and age where you could trade a Joe Carter's salary for prospects doesn't happen.
And we'll talk to Padres left-hander Sterling Hitchcock. The team's postseason hero gives us the outlook for a very slimmed-down San Diego squad.
There's hunger here and there's a desire to win, and that's usually enough.
Plus, I'll jam with the incomparable Garth Brooks. Blame it all on my roots. I showed up in boots. Luckily, we'll first give you the scoop on why the country music legend is putting his recording career on hold and hanging out in Arizona.
I'm playing baseball!
Kevin Towers, Sterling Hitchcock, and Garth Brooks this week on Rewind. Hello everyone, I'm Steve Lyons and welcome to Rewind. Well, this season, if you're a San Diego Padre fan, you've got to be feeling a little bit like a Florida Marlin fan in 1998. The Padres beat the Atlanta Braves to win the National League pennant, and in the offseason, management said, hey, we can't keep any of these great players anymore.